is going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and we are a couple of days away from the usual COD cycle where people out there will go ahead and say Black Ops Cold War is an underrated game, Zombies was great, and Vanguard is worse than Black Ops 4. I'm already predicting that to happen, but tonight we're going to be talking about the surprise announcements regarding Vanguard Zombies, a new look at what Treyarch has in store for us, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and be sure to check out our wonderful partner Manscaped, who recently released a variety of products with Performance Package 4.0. You can clean your balls in there like never before with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker trimmer for our nose and ears, the Crop Preserver deodorant, and the Crop Reviver toner. There's also some free gifts like the Magic Mat, the Manscaped boxers, and a luxury travel bag. Don't forget about the link down below in the description, and use code TWITCH20 to save 20% off your order. But today we got the official trailer for Vanguard on PC, with the preload being confirmed for November the 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's of course this Tuesday, and they confirmed the ultra-wide aspect ratio, 4K graphics, the customized performance options, and even more. And we also have an image here which is beautifully put together regarding all the global launch times of Call of Duty Vanguard on the PC. Once again, on Battle.net, not Steam, in case somebody out there is still confused about that. When Call of Duty transitioned to Battle.net instead of Steam, people out there were still confused about how that would affect future mod tool supports, global launch times. And as of right now, Call of Duty is staying on Battle.net for the foreseeable future, which inevitably puts an end to mod support for Call of Duty as of right now. Now, we also got some other big changes announced today, which I was a bit confused about at first. So tomorrow, instead of getting our usual update in Black Ops Cold War at about 12 o'clock noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, we're actually getting that update at night, which is going to be around 9 p.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock Central, 12 a.m. Eastern. That's a bit different. We usually get updates at around that time when a new season launches, but tomorrow is the start of a new season, so that's a bit strange. We do have our Activision Investors Call, though, at 3:30 p.m. Central, about 4:30 p.m. EST. I'll be live breaking down that entire Activision Investors Call. We'll live react to it, talk about whatever they confirm, as I usually do every time there is a quarterly earnings call from Activision Blizzard. So since the update for Cold War, though, is dropping at night, I guess I'll be dropping a late night video tomorrow for the new Black Ops Cold War update, where they are going to be releasing, as confirmed, the Hammer and Sickle melee weapon, which could be the final DLC weapon added, 100%er challenge calling card for campaign multiplayer and zombies. We have a new Prestige Shot weapon blueprint and some legacy content, along with Zombies Onslaught going live for all other platforms, Xbox and PC, with all 23 maps and the LTMs, along with some Rampage Inducer updates over in Zombies. So Treyarch hinted on Twitter today that it may actually last until past round 50 or higher, so definitely a really cool update for you hardcore Zombies players out there who weren't exactly satisfied with the Rampage Inducer ending at around round 20. Now, something I wanted to mention is an update that may have popped up for you if you're on PlayStation, and this is what we discussed last week, a mystery update which does become installable tomorrow at 11 p.m. Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, and that's coincidentally the same time as the new update that releases, which Treyarch confirmed on Twitter earlier today, with the Hammer and Sickle, 100%er calling cards, Onslaught for Xbox and PC. But what else is bundled with this update? The Hammer and Sickle is already in the game's files. Considering 3D artists are able to make art with it, that means they're able to rip the model, so that wasn't the last title update for Cold War. What is this one going to include? Will it just remove the haunting updates? It's obviously going to bring us the calling cards, but what else? Possibly the Season 6 outro cinematic cutscene, and we won't be installing any of the Onslaught content for PlayStation because it's already here, so I'm wondering if there's going to be any other bonuses, whether it's remastered multiplayer maps, some surprise zombie changes, some other content that wasn't discussed today and is something that will wrap up Cold War's life cycle with a bang. Now today we also got a very beautiful reveal of Damned 5, the new soundtrack for Vanguard Zombies we're going to see in a couple of days' time. I honestly wasn't expecting a new version of Damned for Vanguard. I was expecting them to go down a different route and have a nice soundtrack and whatnot, but not call it Damned since it isn't a Treyarch game. But you know Treyarch, right? They're full of surprises. Really happy to see that they are coming back this year for not only Vanguard Zombies, but even the competitive side of multiplayer, which got confirmed a couple of days ago, as I broke down not too long ago. But we also got the release of the Zombies fan kit featuring logos, artwork, screenshots, profile pictures, mobile wallpapers, the works. Everybody out there who wants to go ahead and flex the release of Vanguard Zombies on their devices. So I've got those links linked down below in the description, of course. We then got a massive blog post for Vanguard Zombies as we know it. I predicted this a couple of weeks ago where I'm like, you know what? Probably closer to release we'll end up getting a full blog post breaking down all the perks, pack-a-punch abilities, all the other secrets that weren't talked about in too much detail during the official reveal a couple of weeks back. And here we have it, right? First off with the field upgrades. It was confirmed they will talk to us as if they are an actual crew. So this is kind of fixing an issue that Cold War had, where people out there weren't a huge fan of the operators, which didn't really say much in game. The actual crew in Cold War Zombies was really just our crew that talked to us via the comms, whether it's through Easter egg steps or some of the higher rounds, you know, Weaver, Peck, Gray, Kravchenko. I mean, that crew varied from map to map a little bit, but that was kind of the only dialogue we really saw in most of our gameplay. So with the field upgrades now, these entities and these Dark Aether gods are going to be speaking to us, furthering the story, I mean, telling us about ourselves, depending on what operator we're playing as. It's going to be interesting, and Treyarch in this blog post did confirm that more field upgrades and more Dark Aether entities will be added to the game post-launch, of course, so that probably means, you know, we'll get some of the field upgrades we had in Black Ops Cold War, and probably some newer ones that are also tied to Dark Aether gods, which the Forsaken had completely consumed in the Dark Aether story we had from Black Ops Cold War. So we'll be able to see a lot of backstory behind all the field upgrades, all these abilities that the Forsaken had at one point. It's going to be great to see this nice prequel story, which still introduces us to new concepts and new characters that may be even more relevant in Treyarch's next game for 2023. Now, in regards to another issue that I think Cold War also had for a majority of the community is regarding replayability, specifically with the Dark Aether crystals and the tier upgrade systems. The thing is, right, once you upgraded all your tiers, got all your crystals, that was it for that system. You couldn't earn any more crystals after that, and nothing else to upgrade, so it was kind of one of those things that once you finished it, you were just done. There wasn't anything further you can do with it. But now Treyarch is looking to actually repair that system and make it hell of a lot better. I was a big fan of the skill tiers and those upgrades, especially if you buy Black Ops Cold War right this second. You have a lot of crystals and tier upgrades to go through, but if you had Cold War at launch, then there wasn't really much you can upgrade every time something new got added every single season, only a couple of small things here and there. But now we're getting 32 new upgrades with the Covenant system over in Vanguard Zombies, starting with Anfang, and they're a bit more RNG based in comparison to the crystals we had in Cold War. So you can equip them as you progress through a single match, provided in exchange for the new Sacrificial Heart loot item earned by completing objectives. So you have access to 11 unique Covenants at launch, each with multiple rarities for a total of 32 upgrades to explore. So the initial set is as follows. We have Bloodlust, melee attacks do more damage and heal you. We have Resurrectionist, revive allies faster. Brain Rot, which is obvious, right? The AAT where you can turn a zombie into a friendly. Cryo Freeze, where you can slow enemies with ice. Death Blow, critical kills return bullets to your clip. Ammo Gremlin, stowed weapons refill ammo from stock automatically. Dead Accurate, consecutive hits on the same enemy do more damage. Splatterfest, enemies killed by explosions may explode. I'm not sure what that exactly means. Unholy Ground, deal more damage while stationary. Call the Weak, deal more damage to slowed or stunned enemies. We then have Motherload, chance to keep equipment after using it. So the way this goes, right, is you can have 3 at a time, but the selection available to you will randomize after each objective completes. So you won't have a match that feels exactly the same as a previous match, and you're not guaranteed to have the same Covenants in your match either, depending on what objective you just did. So it's all randomized. It's a way to kind of change the pacing of how the crystal system worked in Cold War, so that you never really get bored of the same thing over and over, and there's always some spice to add to your match whenever you do objectives. Now we also have a new perk system coming to Vanguard Zombies, and as you complete more objectives in your match and unlock new areas of your forward operations in Stalingrad, you'll gain access to perk fountains containing brand new upgradable abilities. So in Anfang, we'll have 5 perk fountains, and they are as follows. We have Fiendish Fortitude, increasing your health, it's like Juggernog. We have Diabolical Damage, increasing critical damage. We have Venomous Vigor, which boosts health regen speed, kind of like Quick Revive. We then have Demonic Frenzy, which boosts reload speed, like Speed Cola. And we then have Ethereal Haste, boost movement speed, kind of like Stamina. And we did get a glimpse of these new perk fountains in the recent Vanguard Zombies reveal. Some of the gameplay they showed very quickly in between shots. And the base versions of all these perks for the first time in Call of Duty Zombies history are free. You can also keep the base versions of these perks even when you go down. However, if you do go down, you'll lose an upgrade tier for each of those when that happens. And the thing is, it'll cost you a bit of money to get those upgrade tiers back. So to get tier 2, it's going to cost 2,500. To get tier 3, 5,000 points. And for tier 4, 7,500 points. So there are 4 upgrade tiers for each of the perks. We're not sure exactly what the upgrade tiers are or what they're going to do. I'm sure we'll learn that very quickly once this game does release. But an example of the perk known as, what is this, Fiendish Fortitude, the new Juggernog perk, tier 1, when you first buy it, just gives you plus 25 to your your health, you know, not that much, a little bit of a boost, but when you upgrade to tier 4, it'll give you plus 100. So typically what we usually get whenever we upgrade Juggernog in Black Ops Cold War, or how Juggernog used to work back in the day, that's how it's going to work here in Vanguard Zombies. So it's a new perk system altogether. The perks look different, they're going to be named differently, but still have the same abilities that we all know and love from previous Call of Duty Zombies iterations. Now we also have some serious changes to Pack-a-Punch, where now the 3 Pack-a-Punch tiers will cost, and as it says, 7,500, 15,000, and 30,000. So in Black Ops Cold War, it was, what, 5,000, then 15, then 30. So they changed the first tier to 7,500. I'm sure that could get changed with a post-launch update if the community doesn't like that, but they've also gotten rid of the weapon rarity system we had in Cold War Zombies and merged it with Pack-a-Punch. So an unpack-a-punch weapon will be white rarity, while your first tier Pack-a-Punch will be blue rarity, second tier purple, and third tier orange. So I think this might work a little bit better than the way it works in Cold War. I was already fine with the weapon rarity system, but I think an obvious flaw with Cold War Zombies is not really a need to buy wall buys or even use the mystery box. You could just spawn in with the weapon of your choice, upgrade the weapon to the highest rarity, and Pack-a-Punch it 3 times. Boom, that's all you need, on top of a wonder weapon, of course. And there's also an issue when, in Cold War Zombies, if you got a loot drop with a high rarity weapon, what are the chances you actually take it if you already spent all your money on maybe the weapon you spawned in with, Pack-a-Punching that one, maybe upgrading that weapon to a high rarity? So now it seems like they're really merging the two together to make sure that Pack-a-Punching and upgrading weapon rarity do go hand in hand. Now they also mentioned something that I think is the best news we've heard in a while, a big formula twist. So no 2 games of Vanguard Zombies will feel the same. So we have the 3 objectives at launch: Blitz, Transmit, and Harvest, with more of course coming later on in the season. But as they specifically mentioned, you may be able to spawn into a match where if you go to Shinonuma, you only have access to a single corridor of Shinonuma, whereas if you spawn there again, or warp there again I should say, then you'll have access to both floors of the main hut in Shinonuma. So each time you do an objective, the map itself that you're in will look different, play different, and I think that's all about adding more replayability to a mode that's been around for over a decade now. I mean, how do you change the formula just enough to really improve replayability without getting rid of the core of zombies altogether? And I know people out there will probably say, well, DK, look what they already did, right? They got rid of round-based as we know it, but that's not exactly how it goes, because the rounds will still go up every time you do an objective, but it's like Outbreak in the sense that it's not typical round-based where you just kill a certain amount of zombies and boom, you move on to the next round. They've merged Onslaught, round-based, Outbreak all in one, but it's not to say that round-based can't come in the future. However, with the recent Vanguard Zombies reveal trailer, these blog posts, there is no mention whatsoever about a round-based equivalent coming to this game, even though they could pull a Tortured Path and just say, hey, you know what, you want to play round-based on these individual regions, which maybe multiplayer maps or Shinonuma, then hey, let's give it to you. There's no mention of that, even though that could theoretically work. So whether that means there's no round-based at all in this game, whether that means it's coming in a future post-launch update, that is of course unknown, but all in all, regardless of your opinion of this isn't even Treyarch's game, this isn't even Treyarch's year. So we should be at least happy that we're getting some bonus Treyarch content, but I get it, we don't all have to agree with the same thing, it's all subjective, but this isn't Treyarch's game, so I think whatever works and doesn't work in this game will be fully reflected upon in their next Call of Duty title for 2023. Now another big piece of news, which is certainly controversial, especially for the internet, is that there will not be a main quest in Anfang at launch of Vanguard Zombies. Now I predicted this quite a while ago when there was no mention of one in the original Vanguard Zombies reveal and that blog post. I mentioned, I'm like, you know what, they might pull an Outbreak where there just isn't a main quest available at launch or release of the mode, but they'll add one in a future season, whether it's because they ran out of time, whether it's because of some other issues behind the scenes, or whether it's that the main quest itself is pretty ambitious, they need more time to polish it before dropping it to the public. Who knows what the reason is, but the way it's worded today is that it'll be coming after Season 1. It doesn't say Season 2, so it might be Season 1 Reloaded and we end up getting the first main quest for Anfang. Now, they already mentioned in Season 1 we are going to be getting a new objective, new covenants, weapons, challenges, holiday-themed updates, and other surprise elements that set the stage for the main quest itself. We are going to be seeing an unexpected ally, apparently, arrive in Anfang, which sets up how the main quest is going to work. Now, who is that ally? Could it be Zykov, which is going to tie into how he becomes the Forsaken? Will it be maybe Jaeger's grandfather, Gorev's grandfather that team up? I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities of who this character is, but I'm sure it's somebody that's already been referenced in the intel we have from Black Ops Cold War. Now, if anything, not having a main quest at launch might help the zombies community in more ways than another. Despite that being very controversial to say, it gives us time to appreciate the mode for itself, any side Easter eggs, intel, any other surprises kind of get a grasp for all that first, then fully focus on the main quest when it does release. I mean, I said this even when they had locked the main quest for a certain amount of hours with Black Ops 4 and even D Machina. I think people out there don't really appreciate the atmosphere of a map or all the side Easter eggs because they're so focused on hunting that main quest, getting worlds first, you know, absorbing whatever happens in that Easter egg, and then they put the map down right after that gets solved and never touch it again. That happens a lot from time to time whenever Zombies map comes out. So when you have the main quest released all on its own on a separate update, on a separate day completely, I think it changes the scape of how people actually enjoy a map for what it is. They get to appreciate everything else first, then focus on the main quest at a separate time. But I do want to address the fact that gameplay is out there for the entirety of Call of Duty Vanguard, with multiplayer and even zombies. Now, I can't show you anything on screen for obvious reasons. I'm not a leaker, I'm not a gaming scooper, I don't work in the industry. I have no ability to show you that, nor do I want to. I just don't think it's fair to do that to anybody. I just like covering the game. I love covering my favorite franchise, making videos for you guys. So what I will say is beware of spoilers on Twitter, on Reddit, all over the internet. Stuff is out there, but what I will say right now, since people out there are asking a lot about this, as of now there is no mention or footage out there of Pack-a-Punch camos, Wonder Weapon. Maybe that is all going to be a part of this day one patch we get, and people right now that have early copies can access those things. That's what I'm guessing. People out there have some outrageous claims being tweeted out regarding, you know, the point system is like Outbreak, not round-based, so it's hard to actually get money to do things. The hut in Shinonuma is the only playable area on that map. You can't go anywhere past where the flogger used to be. So with that, I mean, like I said already, it's a big question mark. Maybe a day one patch will give people access to things that they're currently missing with their early copies. But this is why I always say, right, don't look at somebody's early copy footage and say, hey, right, that's the final version of the game. It might not be, right? Just be patient with when the game does come out in the next couple of days. But last and not least, the DLC season of Vanguard Zombies altogether. Even though it's not a normal year for Call of Duty, considering Treyarch shouldn't even be here, but we're blessed to have them back with not only Vanguard Zombies, but competitive multiplayer. Even though that is the case, it already seems like we're not going to have a traditional DLC cycle with just round-based maps to release every 3 months featuring new main quests and new side Easter eggs. We're changing things up a little bit. So how will DLC maps work exactly? Will we end up getting another experience drop, let's say in Season 2, that gives us something similar to Anfang, where it's a hub in the middle and then 3 regions you can warp to via portals? Or will we have some type of a system where throughout the entirety of the post-launch cycle, they just keep adding to Anfang, and Anfang is the only experience all year? That is super unlikely, but what if they just keep adding portals around Stalingrad, where Red Star is? What if they just do that for a while and then we don't get another experience like this in the future? I mean, I certainly think they might experiment with a bunch of different type of formulas where maybe the next big zombies drop in Season 2 or whatever season it is could end up bringing us a new structure that's not like Anfang. Maybe it is a regular round-based map with the main quest. I mean, lots of possibilities, but I'm just wondering how Anfang sets the stage for what DLC maps could look like from Treyarch this year. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the big announcements regarding Vanguard Zombies today? How are you feeling about what Treyarch does have in store for us? And how are you guys really feeling about a lack of a main quest and possibly even a Wonder Weapon at the launch of Anfang? Really hope you enjoyed. And be sure to check out my very first Facebook gaming video that I just posted over on that page, which is linked down below in the description. Got some other spicy content I'll be dropping over on that page, and hopefully you guys follow that. Really appreciate the support, and peace out, everyone.